The night cracked open with a scream that tore through the air like glass shattering. Emma said, "Why did you tell them?" Her voice shook, trembling with fear. Lily stood frozen, clutching her phone like it was a weapon. The storm outside rattled the window panes, but inside, silence pressed harder than thunder. Emma's chest heaved, her eyes searching Lily's face for honesty, but finding only shadows. The world tilted beneath her feet. Lily said, "It wasn't supposed to happen this way," but her words fell like knives, sharp and final. Emma felt her heart split in two, every memory of laughter collapsing into disbelief. A candle flickered on the table, throwing their faces into cruel relief. Emma said, "We promised we'd never betray each other." Her words cracked. Lily didn't answer. Guilt had already spoken louder than truth. Emma stumbled backward, gripping the edge of the counter to steady herself. The betrayal smelled like smoke, heavy and choking. The storm outside was nothing compared to the war inside. The storm outside pressed harder, but Emma's silence screamed louder. She thought of late nights with Lily, sharing secrets of a melting ice cream. Emma said, "We swore nothing could come between us." The words now cut like broken glass. The walls echoed memories of laughter, now ghosts haunting every corner. Lily stared at her phone, screen glowing cold. Emma said, "Was it worth it?" But Lily's eyes answered with emptiness. The house groaned as if mourning their bond. Emma's breath fogged against the cold window. Lightning struck outside, mirroring the chaos within. She whispered, "Every promise feels like a lie now." Lily remained still, her silence louder than thunder. Emma thought of childhood summers, chasing fireflies with Lily, swearing forever. The memory burned now, cruel in its sweetness. Emma said, "Why didn't you protect us?" Her question fell unanswered into the storm. Emma turned sharply, her hair whipping, tears burning her cheeks. She said, "You chose them over me." Lily's lips parted, but no words came. Silence carved deeper wounds than accusations. The storm rattled, almost mocking the fragility of their bond. Emma clutched her chest as though holding the shattered pieces of her heart. Lily looked away, her face lit half by stormlight, half by shame. Emma's voice dropped to a whisper, nearly lost in thunder. She said, "I trusted you with everything, Lily." Her voice fractured. Lily's silence hung heavy, her body still as stone. The storm outside roared, but the betrayal screamed louder. Emma stared at the floor, memories scattering like shattered glass across her mind. Every laugh, every secret, every vow was broken in that moment. The storm swallowed the last of her hope. Morning sunlight broke through the storm's aftermath, painting golden streaks on Emma's walls. She sat curled on the couch, clutching a photo album. Emma whispered, "We were unstoppable, Lily." Her voice was both tender and broken. The pages carried laughter frozen in time, two girls tangled in summer grass, grinning at the sky. Emma traced Lily's face with trembling fingers, each photo a reminder of promises that once felt immortal. Emma said, "You were my family." She remembered late-night whispers, the glow of streetlights on their secrets, the warmth of hands held in shared fear. Those moments were pure, untouched by the poison of betrayal. The album closed with a soft thud, echoing louder than thunder. Emma leaned her head back, her chest heavy with a love that still lingered. The silence around her brimmed with ghosts of joy now twisted into grief. Emma walked past the old park where they carved their names into the bench. She brushed her hand across the weathered wood. Emma said, "We promised to come back here every year." The words felt heavy, like chains around her chest. Children's laughter echoed across the playground, a cruel reminder of their innocence. Emma remembered Lily's laughter blending with hers, the two of them running breathless under summer skies. Emma whispered, "You were my forever." Her hand lingered on the carved letters, the grooves rough against her skin. The world moved on, but Emma stood still, lost in echoes of a bond she thought eternal. She closed her eyes, but the memory burned brighter. Emma sat on the bedroom floor, surrounded by shoeboxes of letters. She unfolded one, Lily's handwriting looping across the page. Emma read aloud, "No matter what, we'll always be each other's safe place." Her voice cracked like dry leaves. The ink had faded, but the weight of the words was timeless. Emma pressed the letter to her chest, closing her eyes. She whispered, "How could you forget this?" Every word once held magic, now dripping with betrayal. She scattered the letters across the floor like fallen leaves. Emma said, "We were supposed to protect each other." Silence answered with cruel finality, leaving her trembling in a room overflowing with ghosts of trust. Emma wandered into the diner where she and Lily once spent hours. The booths smelled of coffee and syrup, the air thick with nostalgia. Emma whispered, "We swore these walls would hold our secrets forever." Her voice trembled with grief. She remembered Lily's laughter spilling across the table, their voices weaving dreams into the night. Emma said, "You were more than a friend. You were my anchor." The words quivered in her chest, nearly breaking her in half. The waitress offered a smile, but Emma shook her head. Nothing could sweeten the bitterness that filled her mouth. The clinking of dishes sounded like shards of trust rattling. She pressed her hands to her face, drowning in memory. Night fell, but Emma lingered outside Lily's house. The porch light glowed faintly, a cruel beacon. Emma whispered, "How many nights did we spend here laughing until dawn?" Her chest heaved, heart cracking open with every remembered moment. The house felt haunted, its windows holding shadows of what once lived there. Emma thought of sneaking in during storms, whispering secrets under blankets. She said, "You were my safe place, Lily." The memory burned now, sharp and merciless. She turned away, each step heavy with grief. The night swallowed her, but her heart remained tethered to the home where love had turned into ashes. Her voice broke as she whispered into the dark, "You destroyed us." Emma noticed the silence in Lily's voice that morning, a quiet that roared louder than any argument. Emma said, "You never answered my call last night." Lily's eyes darted away, and her smile carried the weight of something hidden. Emma's chest tightened as Lily laughed too quickly, too rehearsed. Emma said, "You've been distant lately." Lily shifted her bag higher on her shoulder, muttering, "Work's been crazy." But the words felt like a wall between them. The hallway between them stretched wider with each unspoken truth. Emma whispered to herself, "You're slipping away, and I don't know why." The air felt colder, charged with secrets neither dared to speak aloud. Emma sat at the cafe, waiting, her coffee gone cold. Lily arrived late, her hair undone, eyes darting around as though searching for someone else. Emma said, "I thought we agreed to meet an hour ago." Lily forced a laugh. Emma studied every detail. The hurried breath, the distracted gaze, the absent warmth. She whispered, "You don't want to be here." Lily stirred her cup, silence louder than words. Emma felt betrayal wrapping like vines around her heart. She thought of nights when Lily used to call first, eager to share every thought. Now Lily's phone lit with messages Emma wasn't allowed to see. The distance between them stretched wide, sharp enough to cut. At the market, Emma caught Lily speaking to strangers in hushed tones, her face shifting with unease when Emma approached. Emma said, "Who was that?" Lily forced a smile, "No one important." But the lie burned hotter than truth. Emma followed Lily's gaze as the stranger slipped away into the crowd. The silence between them turned heavy, suffocating. Emma whispered, "You're hiding something from me." Lily laughed too loudly, but her eyes betrayed panic. The sound of the bustling market couldn't drown the ache in Emma's chest. Every shared moment now twisted, poisoned by suspicion. The friend she knew felt like a stranger, standing in familiar skin. Emma lingered outside Lily's apartment, the door slightly ajar. Voices spilled out, Lily's laugh mixed with someone unfamiliar. Emma's heart pounded as she pushed the door wider. Lily froze mid-sentence, eyes wide with alarm. Emma said, "Why didn't you tell me someone was here?" The air thickened, walls pressing in. Lily stammered, "It's nothing, just a friend." Emma's stomach twisted. The words weren't lies, they were daggers dressed as excuses. The stranger's shadow disappeared down the hallway, leaving Emma staring at the ghost of her trust. Silence swelled, heavy with betrayal yet to be named. Emma whispered, "You're not the Lily I knew." The night air was sharp as Emma walked away from Lily's building, every step echoing against the pavement. Her mind replayed every unanswered call, every forced smile, every silence that grew like a wall between them. Emma whispered, "You've been leaving me piece by piece." The weight of her words pulled her shoulders low. She thought of the bench, the letters, the laughter, all now poisoned by the sour taste of suspicion. She stopped under the streetlight, breath trembling in the cold. Emma said, "You've already chosen someone else over me, haven't you?" The night swallowed her question whole, but her heart already knew the answer. Emma stood in the shadows of the crowded bar, her eyes locked on Lily across the room. Lily leaned close to Ryan, the man Emma once thought of as her quiet anchor. Their laughter clashed like knives in Emma's chest. Emma whispered to herself, "So this is where the missing hours went." The music pulsed heavy, but all she heard was betrayal beating inside her head. She watched Lily's hand brush Ryan's arm like it belonged there. Ryan leaned in, whispering into Lily's ear, and Lily smiled with the kind of joy Emma hadn't seen directed at her in months. Emma said under her breath, "You sold every secret we built for this." The truth landed like fire. Emma forced her way closer, every step heavy as if dragging chains. Ryan's hand rested openly on Lily's, and the sight made Emma's heart cave. Emma said, "How long has this been happening?" The words cracked but carried like thunder. Lily's face drained of color, lips parting but no sound spilling out. Ryan leaned back, his smirk slicing deeper. He said, "Long enough." Emma's body shook, her breath trembling, every truth she denied crashing around her in shards. The bar noise faded until only the silence between them remained, raw and cutting. Emma whispered, "You were supposed to be mine to trust." Lily's eyes glistened, but the guilt in her gaze confirmed what Emma feared most. Emma's knees nearly gave way as she gripped the edge of the table, the wood biting into her skin. Emma said, "I trusted you with every piece of me." Lily's voice cracked, "Emma, please." But the plea only deepened the wound. Ryan said, "She didn't tell you. She came to me first, sold your secrets because trust was too heavy for her to carry." The words cut through the bar like glass shattering. Emma's eyes darted to Lily, desperate for denial. But Lily's silence was louder than confession. Emma whispered, "You sold me." The bar lights flickered above, casting her in a pale glow. The weight of truth broke her breath, and her world collapsed into a single, endless fall. Emma's voice rose, trembling but sharp. She said, "We promised never to betray each other, and you—" Her words cracked, "You turned my life into a transaction." Lily's tears fell, her mouth opening but no defense strong enough to stand. Ryan leaned forward, voice dripping poison. He said, "Everyone has a price, Emma. Yours just wasn't worth as much to her." The smirk carved into his face deepened Emma's rage. She wanted to scream, but her heart was already screaming louder. The bar seemed to tilt, spinning around the weight of truth. Emma whispered, "Lily, you destroyed everything we were." The words fell like stones into water, rippling across the bond they once swore unbreakable. Emma staggered back from the table, her body trembling as if the ground itself rejected her. Emma said, "I don't even know who you are anymore, Lily." The words echoed hollow, a requiem for the friendship buried in betrayal. Lily reached out, whispering, "Emma, I never meant." But Emma pulled away, fire in her eyes. Emma said, "You don't stumble into selling trust. You chose it." The crowd buzzed distantly, but all Emma heard was the death of forever. Ryan laughed under his breath, mocking the collapse of loyalty. Emma turned, storming into the night, her tears burning trails down her face. Behind her, silence fell heavier than the betrayal itself, final and merciless. Rain hammered the pavement as Emma stopped in the alley behind the bar, her chest burning. Lily followed, drenched, her hair clinging to her face. Emma spun around, shouting, "How could you sell me like I was nothing?" Her voice cracked. Lily's tears mixed with rain, her words trembling. I didn't mean for it to go this far. Emma laughed bitterly, the sound sharp as glass. She said, "You meant every single lie, Lily. Don't you dare pretend." Lightning split the sky above. The storm raged, but nothing matched the chaos tearing them apart. Emma whispered, "We were sisters." The words shattered in her throat. Lily clutched her chest as if holding broken pieces, whispering, "I loved you, Emma." But love had turned poison. Emma's eyes burned as thunder rattled overhead. She said, "You didn't just betray me, you erased us." Lily staggered, clutching the wall. She pleaded, "I was desperate, Emma. I thought I'd lose everything if I didn't." Emma's voice rose, fierce. "You already had everything. Me, our bond, our history, and you threw it away." Lily shook her head violently, tears flying. "I was scared of being nothing." The confession slammed into Emma's chest like a blow. Emma stepped forward, her hands trembling, shouting, "You made me nothing instead." The silence after her words was deafening, their faces lit by flashes of stormlight, both breaking in ways they could never repair. The air felt like fire despite the rain. Emma shouted, "You don't stumble into betrayal, Lily. You chose it." Lily cried, "I thought Ryan could give me what I needed." Emma's body stiffened, her voice breaking. "And what about what we had?" Every memory came flooding back. Laughter, secrets, promises, etched into eternity. Emma whispered, "Was all of it a lie?" Lily sobbed, "No. It was real, Emma. It was everything. But I wanted more." The words sliced like steel. Emma's hands dropped to her sides, powerless under the weight of her heartbreak. She said, "You didn't just break us. You killed the best part of me." The storm seemed to bow to the rage burning between them. Emma advanced, voice trembling with fury. She said, "You wanted more. You sold me for scraps of attention. You sold our forever for his empty smile." Lily shook violently, sobbing, "I didn't know how to stop once it began." Emma's breath tore from her chest. "You could have told me. You could have trusted me." The silence between words roared like thunder. Lily dropped to her knees, hands clutching wet concrete, whispering, "I'm sorry, Emma. I'm so sorry." Emma stood above her, body trembling. She whispered, "Sorry doesn't bring back the girl who was my everything." Her voice was sharper than lightning, cutting through the night. Lily collapsed further, her sobs swallowed by the storm's roar. Emma turned, her body trembling with rage and grief. She said, "You've already buried what we had, Lily. There's nothing left." Lily reached forward, choking on her sobs. "Please don't walk away." The storm drowned her plea. Emma paused only long enough to whisper, "You were my home, and now you're my ruin." Her voice shattered like glass against stone. She walked into the storm, leaving Lily crumpled behind, her sobs mixing with the rain. The night closed in around them, thunder rolling like judgment. The bond that once glowed brighter than fire now lay extinguished, drowned in betrayal and storm. Emma's footsteps vanished into the darkness, carrying the ashes of everything they were. Morning light spilled into Emma's room, cutting through the storm's residue. She sat on the edge of her bed, eyes hollow, holding a sweater Lily once left behind. Emma whispered, "How do I erase someone who was stitched into me?" Her hands trembled as she pressed the fabric to her chest, inhaling the scent that lingered faintly. Memories flooded her mind, shared secrets under blankets, laughter spilling into the night. Now, every echo felt like a dagger twisted deeper. Emma rose, staring into the mirror. She said, "You can't let her destroy you." Her reflection stared back, fractured, but alive. The voice inside begged for strength. The betrayal was poison, but she refused to drink it anymore. Emma walked the riverside path they once claimed as theirs. The water glistened under the pale sun, mocking her solitude. She whispered, "Lily, we built forever here." Her chest burned. Now the bench was empty, her laughter gone. She closed her eyes, remembering Lily's voice echoing across the rippling water. Emma said, "You promised this would be ours." The promise had turned to ash, but Emma's steps grew steadier. Every breath was survival. Every step was defiance. The river carried away fallen leaves, just as time threatened to carry away her pain. Emma clenched her fists, whispering, "I will not let you win, Lily." Her words trembled, but for the first time, they belonged to her alone. At the diner booth, Emma sat alone, staring at her untouched coffee. She whispered, "This place will never sound the same." The ghost of Lily's laughter rattled in her ears. The clinking silverware around her mocked the silence between them. Emma leaned forward, her voice breaking. "You ruined safe places, Lily." Her fingers tapped the table, restless, aching for what was lost. She wanted to cry, but tears had run dry. Pain had turned into something sharper. She rose, leaving the coffee behind. Emma said, "I don't need ghosts anymore." The words stuck in her throat but burned with truth. She stepped outside, carrying not warmth but a fragile piece of freedom. Emma visited her childhood attic, dust swirling in streaks of sunlight. She opened an old box, photographs spilling like wounds. Emma said, "This is where we promised forever." Her voice cracked as she held an image of them at 12, laughing. The photo shook in her trembling hands. She whispered, "You were my world." But she shoved the photo back into the box, shutting the lid firmly. She said, "You can't haunt me anymore, Lily." Her chest lifted heavier but freer. The attic smelled of dust and memories, but Emma's eyes burned with fire. Betrayal had ripped her open, but from the ashes, resolve stirred. She whispered to herself, "You don't get the last word. I do." Night fell, but Emma stood on her balcony, the city glowing beneath her. She whispered, "Lily, you broke me, but I'm still standing." Her breath shook, but her spine straightened. The betrayal scarred, yet she was still here. She gripped the railing tight, staring at the endless lights. Emma said, "I will carry the wound, but I will not let it own me." Tears welled, but she didn't crumble. This was her reclaiming. This was her vow to survive. The stars blinked above, distant witnesses. Emma whispered, "You lost me, Lily. That's your punishment." The night wrapped around her, not in grief but in strength finally found. Emma stood in the cemetery, autumn leaves swirling around her. The silence pressed heavy, broken only by the wind. She whispered, "Lily, I came here because even memories deserve a burial." Her voice cracked, fragile but sharp as broken glass. She laid a dried rose at the foot of the bench where they carved forever. Emma said, "We thought forever meant unbreakable. But forever only meant until you chose to leave me bleeding." Her words bled into the air like wounds unhealed. The past screamed in her chest, but she refused to bow. She whispered, "You don't get to haunt me anymore. I bury you here." Her heart trembled, but her voice carved steel into the silence. Emma returned to the river at dusk, water shimmering in fading light. She whispered, "This place held our secrets. Now it will carry them away." Her voice trembled as the river swallowed the small photo she released into its current. She watched it drift until it vanished, her chest hollow yet lighter. Emma said, "Goodbye, Lily. You don't get to own me anymore." Her words carried like prayers and curses. The river rippled, indifferent, but Emma's heart steadied. The sky bled orange into indigo, closing a chapter she never asked to end. Emma whispered, "I survived you." The truth landed softly, but carved deep. Emma passed the diner, its neon glow humming against the night. She stopped outside, staring at the window where she and Lily once sat, laughter spilling. Emma whispered, "This place used to hold joy. Now it holds nothing but echoes." Her breath fogged against the glass as she leaned forward, seeing her reflection overlaying the empty booth. Emma said, "I won't sit here again. I won't bleed for ghosts." The words trembled, but burned with defiance. She stepped back, turning into the night. The booth behind her remained empty, forever belonging to a bond that died. Emma whispered, "Good riddance." The finality carved itself into the air like thunder. At home, Emma burned the last letter Lily wrote. The flames curled the paper into ash, smoke rising like lost promises. Emma whispered, "Every word you wrote was a lie dressed in sweetness." Her hand trembled, but her gaze stayed steady. The fire crackled, devouring years of trust. Emma said, "I don't forgive you, Lily. I never will." Her voice carried through the silence, sharp, unflinching. The ash fell into the tray like the end of an era. Tears welled, but she let them fall, cleansing more than breaking. She whispered, "You're gone, and I'm free." The flames dimmed, but the strength inside her glowed brighter. Emma stood on her balcony at dawn, city bathed in pale light. She whispered, "Lily, you didn't just betray me. You betrayed every version of us we could have been." Her voice was soft but final, slicing sharper than screams. The horizon blazed with sunrise, painting the sky with defiance. Emma's breath caught, not in grief but in release. She said, "You are my scar, not my chain." For the first time the words felt whole, cutting yet healing. The day began without Lily. The last of Emma's tears dried as sunlight crowned her face. She whispered, "This is the end." And for once it truly was.